This is the scene all over our area. Take a look here. Downed trees on homes, cars, power lines. Along with the destruction comes power outages. Edison says it hasn't been this bad since Superstorm Sandy. So giving us an update right now for New York residents is ConEd Representative Alfonso Quiroz. So good morning to you, Alfonso. How you doing?
Good morning, Dan. I'm doing well.
Hey, so let's get into it this morning. I'm looking at the outage map. Almost 200,000 ConEd customers without power this morning. Is there a timeline of when people can expect their power back on? I'm looking on Twitter. There's a lot of frustration, understandably so, right? So are we talking hours or days?
Well, there's no doubt about it. This storm really did hit us pretty hard. And so what we saw is that we had over 260,000 customers out.
Wow.
As of last night, we restored 50,000 of those customers. A lot of what happened was because the night before last, I'm not sure if you remember, but the night before last, it was we had a rainy day, and what happened is that the soil was moist, and so when high winds come through, it can really easily topple over a lot of these trees onto our overhead lines. Now, something like this is not going to be fixed in a matter of hours. Some customers it could take a couple of days until we restore service to a couple of customers. But what the first objective that we have to do when something like this happens is that we have to send assessors out to assess the damage. Now, we are not able to send out crews when the storm is happening because it's just too dangerous to send somebody up in a bucket truck when we have these high winds. Mm-hmm. So we have to wait until the storm is over. Then what we do is that we send out assessors to assess the damage. Once we do that, we're able to send crews out. Now, the problem that we find in a lot of these areas is that roads are blocked by trees and limbs. So we have to work with, the city and local municipalities to clear the roads before we can actually get to areas where we.
So in areas like Westchester, Queens, and Brooklyn that have so many of those downed trees right now, that you're anticipating it could take days. Walk me through the process right now of what you can tell those people then in terms of power.
Well, what we're telling people, obviously, number one, is that to stay away from any down power lines. They are very dangerous. They are out there. And just because a power line is not sparking does not mean that it's live. So if you do see one, be sure to call 911 and stay far, far away from it.
Alfonso, when I look at the map right now and I see the outages, do you have a percentage of numbers of how many people will be waiting days? Because people really need to prioritize and plan. We're in the pandemic. People need medication, things like that. What's the percentage that would be waiting days until they get their power back, and where?
I don't have the percentage with me right now, but what I can tell you is that people can go on ConEd.com, our website, to find out specifically when their estimated time is going to be. And so what we do is we encourage them to go online and find that out. But again, it's certainly not going to be within hours. We're working on it to make sure that everyone is up as quickly as we possibly can. The thing that makes this different in a couple of different ways is that these are overhead wires. So we can see exactly where the problem is at, as opposed to when there's an outage in like Manhattan or other parts of the city where there's an underground system where we actually dig in and trench it in order to find the problem.
Yeah, before a storm comes, do you go and trim branches and things like that? I mean, some of them are just down branches. I mean, I know some trees came down altogether, but what's the prep work before a storm comes in when you guys say you're preparing?
And that's exactly right. So what we do is that we have a year-round tree trimming program that we go around and we trim trees that are dead or dying. A lot of these trees actually are on private property. So we are unable to trim some of those trees. But we do have a very, very aggressive tree trimming operation. So that will help us out a little bit. But a lot of these trees are actually on private property.
It is a tough situation. I know a lot of people are frustrated, right? And I know your crews are working fast and furious. Thank you for your time this morning, and hopefully everybody gets their power back on quicker than you expect, which you said was a couple of days. So hopefully it's quicker than that, but I know everybody's working as quick as they can. Appreciate it.